How can we perfect the art of breathing in order to connect better with ourselves and to exhale the energy we truly wish to put forth? Today we'll be taking a breath with featured artist, Nashville, Tennessee singer-songwriter Ty Chase, and founder of Portugal's Thinking Big, my first international guest, Edite Amorim. I'm Amanda Ashley, and this is episode 84, Inhale, Exhale. Welcome to Afternoon Cocktail. Hey, and welcome. Ty Chase, what's up?
Amanda, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks so much for joining us from Nashville. What are you going to perform for us?
Today, I'm going to appropriately perform my song, Inhale. Here you go.
Perfect.
Hounds of hell are howling through the dead of night to me and you. On the run all night and day, Holy Lord, light the way. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Lightning bolts and thunder rolls in a heart, in a soul. Wildfire in her eyes, a wicked storm, her disguise. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Watch our mighty mother fall. Heed our mighty mother's call. Watch our mighty mother fall. Heed our mighty mother's call. watch you fall. Heed the call. Watch you fall.
Awesome, Ty. Really cool. I really dig your music. So, your band. I wish I
Thank
could
you.
see you perform with your band because we're getting a pretty like you were even joking saying like a almost like a dubbed down version of some of these songs that you're presenting to us today. Can you tell our audience just like a little bit about your band and how many pieces you are and what genre do you consider yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I would consider us alternative rock if I was to
Yeah.
slap a label on it. Typically, we're a three-piece, but we have been a four-piece sometimes. It's interesting how it all started out with me being a bassist and a primarily a backup vocalist in a rock band with some of my friends, and tying into the inhale exhale theme of our time today. I was inhaling this season of life where I was in this band where I wasn't super satisfied with the role I was playing, and I had these songs that I was cooking up on the side, and I realized that if I don't take a chance on myself and just do my thing with these songs and see what comes of it, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life. So
Mm.
I decided to start what was John Tyler and the Chase, and then that morphed into just Ty Chase. So, yeah,
Have you been called Ty most of your life?
my whole life. My whole
Yeah.
life, yeah. My first name's John, obviously, and, well, I guess it's not so obvious. But my first name is John, and there's many Johns in my family, and my parents wanted to, well, my dad wanted to originally name me Steven Tyler Chase because he's a huge Aerosmith fan, but my mom was not having it because Steven Tyler was in
Already
the
taken.
the depths of a drug addiction at the time, and it
Oh,
was already taken, of course, yeah.
and that too, yeah.
Right, right.
Oh
So
my goodness.
they decided they were going to go with Tyler John Chase, but they were like, John Tyler Chase sounds much nicer than Tyler John Chase. So
So it sounds like your pop was a pretty big music lover. I mean, do your parents play music as well?
it's funny you asked that. I'm actually teaching my dad guitar and my mom piano right now.
Oh
So
wow,
they
that's
were
awesome.
they were never musicians growing up. They just had great tastes in music, or at least that's how I view it, because they introduced me to so many great artists growing up. Like my mom loved and still loves R&B, Stevie Wonder, and just R&B from the 70s, 60s. And then my dad is on the more aggressive side with Aerosmith and AC/DC, which was also ultimately my first concert at Giant Stadium. AC/DC was, and that was transformative for me in
It's
terms
funny,
of my
like
musical
when
journey.
you're just singing your song Inhale, like I was thinking like I could hear like almost like an AC/DC like type vocal like thrown in some of those parts, like a high vocal. But
Yeah.
also some of your music really reminds me. I've been listening to like last night. I listened to a little bit of Alice in Chains. My friend next door, we built an ice skating rink. This is like what we do in Rochester, New York.
What? You built
We
an ice skating rink?
I
That's
actually
sweet.
I watched people build an ice skating rink, but this is like
There's a
part of
difference there,
our
Amanda. There's a
community.
difference there.
Well, it's partially in our my yard, so it counts for something, right? But yeah, it's my neighbors. We during quarantine, one of the beautiful blessings of this pandemic was we became very close, and they Pat he was trying to convince us to put this ice skating rink in our yard, and then I was like, I don't know about that, and then they were like, fine, we're just gonna do it, and all like four of our like neighbors, like all four of our houses, like collectively together, like helped build and take part in some way. And now it's come to fruition, and we've been ice skating. And Beau, being the lighting technical genius that he is, he put up lights. So at night we've been going, and Pat was playing some Alice in Chains last night. And I was like, oh my God, I love Alice in Chains. Like, they're such an awesome band. I love their harmonies. And I could hear a little grunt, like that type of, I mean, I don't know if that's considered grunge. I always kind of thought it was. But like Alice in Chains or
Your
Stone
gut is
Temple
right. I agree.
Pilots. Yeah, I could hear that in your music and in your tone. And I love it. I think it's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, could you tell us a little bit more about Inhale? So, what inspired you
Yeah.
to write the song?
I discovered something really funny about this. I was talking to a great friend of mine who actually helped me produce the recording of the song. Shout out Reggie and Sydney Lane Studios out of Chehalis, Washington. Um, I realized that by writing songs, I imagine you write songs as well, Amanda. Actually, I know you do.
I
That
do.
sometimes the lyrics in my song are like a subconscious level of my being talking to me, sort of trying to guide me in some way. And
Yeah.
I've recognized since releasing the song, and I released it this past September, and it's taken on an interesting meaning to me because it started out with the way that I would console my younger sister, because she would sometimes get really, I mean, it's me, an older brother I have, younger brother I have, and my younger sister, and she would get overwhelmed sometimes and would just be furious. So I would sometimes go and help her, and we would just breathe together. I would say, okay, we're gonna just breathe real slow, and it was amazing how it would just change her whole demeanor. It would calm her down. It would calm both of us down, really.
Have you always practiced that in your life? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, like somebody told you that? Like, did your parents tell you that as a child? Like, just breathe, like whenever you were having a fit or a tantrum, or is that just something over time you just learned to do?
Well, meditating is something that I adopted later on in my life, around college and after college and stuff like that. And it's interesting that it wasn't really emphasized in my household growing up. Obviously, you have to breathe to live. But I know you're talking about something separate, like deliberate, conscious breathing in
Breathing,
terms
yeah.
of,
Take a breath, yeah, that type of
right,
thing.
that's completely different. It's
Isn't
continued
that
to
amazing
amaze
though?
me.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
amazing because I was thinking about this as I was like writing the show, like I have a 4-year-old child, and we're teaching him to get his emotions under control as best as we can. And one of those things that we both always say is, Remy, take a breath, like stop, pause, and breathe. And he does it when we tell him, surprisingly, because most of the things I tell him he doesn't want to, listen to. But I think he'll actually pause and do it, and it works. And I think it's so ironic that I could do that for a 4-year-old, but forget to do that for myself most of the times, And when I do remember it, it helps. It's incredible that this thing that we do so subconsciously, when you make a conscious effort to stop and think about it for a second, how it really could alter your mood. It's wild.
It really is. And I was thinking about it earlier today, actually, how when we exercise, when we go to the gym, we're, at least I try to be super conscious about my breath. And how I thought about it today was when we're doing a set or a rep or something, you breathe in before you exert the most force that you need, and then you exhale as you're exerting all the force to complete the rep. And it just opened my eyes, like, wow, the simple act of breathing gives us strength.
Uh huh.
And I've never thought
Totally.
about it that way.
Do you find yourself like when you're working out, breathe into a rhythm? I don't know how much of this is just me
Sometimes,
being a
yeah.
musician.
Sometimes.
I wonder, like, yeah, I find that like I'll find like a rhythm to breathe to, and that like works for me. But I don't know if that's like but I wonder if a lot of other musicians do
Sometimes I
that.
do.
Yeah. The other thing is like I teach on the side. I instruct vocal and piano lessons and
Love it.
beginner guitar. And breathing for vocals, singing came last for me. I played piano since I was 6, guitar since I was like 11, 12, and then like I didn't really discover myself as a vocalist till I was like 14. And
Still
the breath
early.
work, yeah, yeah, pretty, not even, I wouldn't even say that. But anyway, like around about that time, and I started taking my voice more serious, and I realized over time, like as I learned and grew into my voice, how much of a part, how much of a role breathing plays. It's everything, and it's a lot like yoga and meditation in a lot of ways where so when I instruct, I actually do a lot of breathing exercises, just plain breathing, relaxing your body, like getting yourself into the right mind state to perform and be a part of that song. Do you feel like when you're performing that you have to take that breath and kind of close your eyes and like slip into the song and your breath becomes a part of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, without our breath, we're not going to hit a single note, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I find it to be so important. And meditating before I perform, I've found is so beneficial for me as far as keeping my focus. And when I'm meditating, visualizing having the time of my life.
Yeah.
And aside from performing music too, meditating and just visualizing just a big smile on my face throughout my day, being mindful of what I have to do during the day, and visualizing myself just loving it, just having a great time, being totally present with whoever I'm with, and losing myself in the process of it. Because there's some times where I'll be going about my day and I will maybe look at my watch or check what time it is instead of being totally immersed in what I'm doing. And when I'm totally immersed, it is not only more joyful of an experience, but it seems to impact the people that I'm with a lot more than if I am dividing my attention, which sometimes we have to divide our attention, but it's continued to amaze me how keeping my focus pure and single, how profound of an impact that has.
Isn't it amazing to think that, you're kind of in a special place with that because not a lot of people can say that they could bring themselves to a place like that, like, or that their mind is too cluttered, for them to enjoy immersing themselves in any moment.
Absolutely. What's a way that you have found breathing and conscious breathing at that or meditation to be really beneficial for you that you wouldn't have foreseen?
For me, it's definitely when I'm angry. If I'm
Yeah.
upset, it takes me a lot to get there.
Mm.
Um, but hey, Beau, I don't know if you could hear me, but microphone's turned on. Um, but yeah, I think that when I'm angry, it takes me a lot to get there, and typically, it takes a lot of energy out of me. It drains so much energy out of me that it becomes almost to the point like where I get tense and super angry, and then I have like an emotional breakdown after. And it takes me like a few days to really get over some things, and I gotta like really talk myself through letting things go. And
Mm.
breathing helps me with that a lot. Exercising actually helps me, like going on bike rides. It's like I went on a bike ride
Mm.
yesterday, if I could find like 20 minutes to do it, I don't care if it's like, as long as it's like the ground's not totally frozen here and that I'm not going to get hypothermia. Like I'll go out and ride my bike because that's how it is out here. It's very cold. But yeah, it really does a lot for my mind. And I noticed that, and I'm grateful that I found that, aside from music. But
Absolutely.
Ty, so your song Inhale kind of it addresses anxiety and depression. Am I wrong for assuming, or am I assuming that?
That is definitely a part of it. Yeah.
So what message would you like to share with those dealing with those two things? Anxiety and depression right now is high for a lot of people. How do you get yourself through that? And do you have any advice for others to kind of help themselves through as well? Long thought. Did I stump you, Ty?
First, I would like to say that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to talk to someone, message me on Instagram at Ty Chase Creative. Please, please do that. If you're ever going through a really tough time and you just need a listening ear, what I find myself doing when I am being tested in the way of some sort of stimulus that would lead us to depression or anxiety is breathing, is meditating, breathing, and exercise, and giving myself grace in terms of being really compassionate towards myself and treating myself the way that I would treat, like, say, my dog who I love, or a friend who I really love and who I would want the best for. Without diving into a long-winded answer, that's what I would say. Love yourself, love the people around you, because it pays back every time.
Sometimes you just need to buy yourself some flowers. That's what I did last week. I was like in a store and I passed these like beautiful flowers and I'm like, you know what? I just need something to color my table today. Like I need to look at something bright and to be reminded that there's beauty in today, and I bought myself flowers. Sometimes you just got to take care of yourself in all those little ways. I think it makes a big difference. Ty, so what's next? What do you got going on? Are you recording? Are you releasing anything soon? Any upcoming shows? All the above?
Pretty much all of the above except for the shows, because of the COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Definitely putting that off until it's safe for all of us to gather. I have another single coming out soon, and I have one other single that came out called Wake Up, and you guys can find that. I believe the revenue share on Bandcamp is waived today, so you guys could download it for free, or if you want to pay something, I'm always grateful for any tips, at tychase.bandcamp.com. You could also find me on YouTube. There's a video for Inhale on there that I'm really excited about. Shout out to Alex Ferguson and Jet Black Media, because he did a fantastic job with me making that. And yeah, just been writing a lot and enjoying that process.
Well, best wishes to you. Keep putting out awesome music, and I look forward to hearing and following. We could find you on Facebook. I know Instagram. Where else are you?
Facebook, Instagram, my Bandcamp that I plugged a second ago, tychase.bandcamp.com. That is the site that I benefit most from, as far as the audience's generosity goes. And that's pretty much it. I'm most active on Instagram, so tune into my Instagram, and I love to connect with people on there. So please feel free to reach out to me there.
Awesome, Ty. Thank you so much for being on our show. And we're
Thank
going to
you
hear
so
one
much.
more song from Ty in the end of our program. In the meantime, I would love to welcome our first international guest, Edite Amorim. She's all the way out in Porto, Portugal. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Amanda. Hello, everybody.
So nice to finally to meet you face to face. I mean, I want to say virtually meet you, but we kind of already did that.
Mhm.
But can you share with our audience just a little about you and your story and your journey that led you to the creation of your company, Thinking Big?
Yeah, with pleasure. First of all, I think I have to retune. I was so focused on your conversations, like, yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, I like what they are saying. It's like, it's me talking. Oh, yeah, right. So thanks once again for your conversation, Ty and Amanda. It was super nice to hear you. About my thinking big, actually, it was very funny. Today I was writing a post about this intervention with your afternoon cocktail. And first of all, I'm very thankful to be able to contribute somehow with your project.
Oh, thank
Congratulations
you.
on that, Amanda and Beau. And it was really nice because I started realizing that actually it's kind of funny how life works, because I'm Portuguese. I live in Porto, in Portugal. I've lived a lot in a lot of places, in Ireland, in France, in Barcelona, in the crazy years, and I traveled a lot. And it was very fun. It's very, very funny that actually Thinking Big started in the USA, and
Oh,
it
wow.
started with a no, and this like with a failure, which I love these failure things, because actually I was working for some years already, and I went to the United States because I wanted to work with Csikszentmihalyi, one of the greatest teachers from positive psychology, the author of the concept of flow. So I went there, and I went to a big conference, the positive psychology conference, just to meet him and ask him if I could do the PhD with him. I was super convinced I would be, he would be like, of course you did. We were really expecting you. And he said, you know what? You are too practical. We can see that you are a hands-on person. You are not the kind of girl that stands, studying and reading and just writing papers. Like, you need your hands on, and a PhD, it's not for you. So it's like, okay, this was my plan A, and I didn't have a plan B. So what do I do now? And after this conference, when I heard this, no, you are not a very good candidate for a PhD, because I think you are going to get bored, I went to Colorado Springs, in a small town called Manitou Springs, where I was supposed to teach some workshops. And it was an invitation from a friend, from an American friend. So I did my workshops, and at the end, everybody was saying like, wow, you were meant to do these hands-on workshops. Like, this is absolutely you. So, okay, so one doesn't want, in one hand, the guy doesn't want me to do a PhD. And on the other hand, someone, or all of the people here are saying, just do something of your own because you are a hands-on woman. So, well, we went to a cafe, and Angie Durbin, this American friend, she said, look, just log in like some name that you like and create a website. Like, this is not like that, because in Portugal, in Europe, we are supposed to think a lot and to do a lot of research. It's like, just do it. Like, okay, but I don't even know about the name. And she said, like, just choose something that touches inside yourself deeply, and thinking big, not to thinking big as in being very ambitious, but in having a lot of perspective, very zoom out, feeling very small in the world. That was something that I always felt. So yeah, to think big, I think big, thinking big, yeah, think big, thinking big. So yeah, the story is basically this one, and it started in 2011.
I love it. So, could you tell our audience like what exactly it is that you do at Thinking Big? Like, what's your mission?
With Thinking Big, I kind of merge all the things that I love. I'm a psychologist as a base. Like, I studied 7 years as a psychologist, first in Porto, then in Barcelona in a master's degree. And I work with groups a lot, group dynamics and groups of all kinds. So I had this in me, but on the other hand, I had a lot of creative techniques. I used to do a lot of dancing, a lot of theater, a lot of body expression. So Thinking Big was my creative way of being. I'm a consultant, basically. I do some workshops and I teach some conferences as well, basically for companies, but sometimes with small institutions like schools, but mostly companies, big ones and small. and I promote workshops to make people more aware of critical thinking, of creativity, and on applied positive psychology. For example, positive leadership, or a positive approach to a team, to the way teams work, for example. So it's basically shaking minds. My work is to shake minds, I would say.
Make people think
Yeah.
big. Yeah, I love it. Eddie, what drew you to like towards positive psychology? I think it's such an amazing field. Like I wish I only started learning about it really, I think I've always kind of practiced a lot of the things that I researched naturally. And then when the pandemic hit, I started picking up some books and reading articles like online and just kind of researching. And it really is like right where I'm at. It's helped me a lot. I mean, what drew you to it?
Yeah, it's very funny because you are very close from the place where many of the authors and the researchers are, because they are, most of them are in Philadelphia, so you are very close to the
Yeah,
source.
not
You are
far.
lucky. But actually, I think the same happened to me, because I finished my degree in 2004. This is how old I am. I'm 40 years old. So in 2004, I finished my degree, and I started a small entrepreneur project. And I was like, I knew that I didn't want to be the psychologist that takes care of, bad issues like anxiety and depression and this low side of life. I
Mhm.
wanted to take what the normal and enhance the normal, to reach our best potential. But I knew anything about it because we didn't learn about positive psychology at school. I'm talking in 2004. It was really new. We were in Europe. So I had this mindset in my mind. I wanted to do something, and I thought I was absolutely brilliant because look at my, I'm so clever that I had this idea. I was not clever. I was just stupid because I hadn't read enough and I didn't know that positive psychology existed. So for 7 years, and this is how stupid I was, I was creating this mindset of positive growth without knowing anything about positive psychology. So one day I go to a conference in Italy, I'm presenting my things, and a researcher comes and says, "Oh, very interesting. You are into the field of positive psychology too." And it's like, "Am I? What's that? That's a weird name, positive psychology. Why there
How
is a negative
funny.
psychology?" So I started digging and digging, and like you, Amanda, I started reading articles and digging more and more. It's like suddenly it's like, yeah, I've been doing these for 7 years already, but I thought
Yeah.
that I had invented it. So yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I think that's awesome though that you like realize that like the potential of it with I mean, I think the same thing, it's like I didn't think I invented it, but well, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it really. I just didn't realize it was a thing. Like there's a lot of yogis, like a lot of people that do like the yoga and practice meditation in different forms. But like I never really was one to do yoga, and I never like found my place there. But through reading these like various articles and like just me trying to find myself and discover why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and like starting to read and having these light bulbs go off, like that's what drew me to it. And it really does help for anybody that like I mean, it's just simple practicing of kindness, being kind to yourself, more or less, like,
Like Ty
and
was saying before.
yeah, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
What's the most valuable thing you've been able to take from in your own personal life from your studies and from working with the people that you've worked with?
Hmm. I think it's very funny because one important thing for me was to separate all the time. It's not about positive thinking. I mean, positive psychology is really a science, and it's part of the science, which is, psychology in general. It's just a field, and it's scientific data, and it's very well researched. And for me to find many articles and authors and books that are not self-help books, these are scientific things that were corroborating what I feel or see the world. The concept of flow, for example, it's something that I teach a lot in my workshops. It's something that I work a lot with, and it's something that I try to promote in my everyday life, trying to have a little bit of time to dig into an activity that allows me to the state of flow. Or another thing, for example, is I use a lot of the development of the personal strengths, like trying to find the good things in us that at the same time they give us energy. So it's not the good things that sometimes we are good at something, but that doesn't necessarily give you energy, but strengths, as in the positive psychology definition, it's something that you are good at and it gives you energy. And I'm more aware now, after, I was always after these to use these more, but now I'm more and more aware. Okay, I'm creative, so the more I use creativity, the better I will feel, for example. So yeah, two of the cases are these ones. I feel very energized by working with others in these concepts from positive psychology. Yeah, creativity, for example, applied creativity, or when I work with positive leaderships, it reminds me that when it's my turn to coordinate a team, it's good to have these and these and these in mind. For example, the focus on the vision, to align the vision between all of the people in the team, positive communication. So yeah, I think working with other people, it's a constant reminder for me too.
I think positive psychology definitely, I see a lot of correlation with connecting with other people, because I think like we learn and we take so much from one another, and without like even realizing or intending to, and I've noticed, like with right now is difficult, because I'm not traveling. Many people aren't traveling because of, what's going on with the pandemic, obviously, but you know, meeting people like you, like traveling always had done a lot for me, because when you get different perspectives, and you get to see different cultures, and seeing the way other people live and how they react and interpret life, like that, it's valuable. It's valuable to take it in. I try to be a sponge with all that stuff, because it really teaches you a lot about how you perceive things. It makes you think a little bit more, and I miss that about traveling, and I'm grateful that like we're connected like this, with you being where you are today, from us here in freezing Rochester. But um yeah. What awareness are you most passionate about bringing?
What awareness? I really like the idea that part of my job is to help people question the obvious. The thing like, oh, we have always done these like that. I really like to start with the why, and why not? Why can't you change that? Or at least be mindful that this is the way you choose to do it, but not just because you've always been doing that like that way. Yeah, I think questioning the obvious, for me, it's really, really important. Yeah.
I love it. And Edie, so you're a mother. I mean, how does that does that interrupt your flow in any ways? Like, or has being a mother made you discover your a different flow about you, and a way for you to channel yourself still, even with the distraction of a newborn, and you have two children, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so how do you still find your flow in the midst of mothering?
I think I'm very lucky because I started motherhood when I was 36. So my youngest boy, he has now 4 months. So and I'm 40. So I think this makes me like, I've traveled the world, I've dated a lot. I live the crazy life. I've done a lot of stuff, a lot of projects, and now it's kind of the time to really enjoy. Like, I'm super focused in motherhood, because I'm not with anxiety of, I'm losing something. But it's very funny because my companion is 11 years younger than me. So he's in the other side of that. He's very young and is starting a super brilliant career, and he has two children. And it's super nice to see these two worlds. And I'm super happy, honestly, to have chosen this one because I think if I would be a mother at 27, I would be, I don't know, traveling with kids in my backpack or something crazy like that. Well, the truth is the fact that I'm very, I know, secure in some things, that makes me take my kids. I have two boys. One is a toddler, 2 years and a half, and the other is a baby. Like since my toddler now, like Lou, was born, I started taking him with me in my projects. So my first big project was abroad. With a big French company. So I was in a French company in France. So French is my fourth language. So I'm not
Wow.
super fluent in French. I can speak enough to give a workshop, but it's not my native language. So I was in a foreign country with a language that wasn't mine. And when I was speaking with the guys that were hiring me, and this was a very big French company, I was like, of course, I'm very happy to do the project with you, but I will take my boy with me because he's 3 years old and I'm still breastfeeding. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to take him with me. And they were like, well, okay, like, what can we say? So I was in the middle of a training, 8 hours training with only men in the training, a high level, intermediate, whatever. And I was still breastfeeding, and doing the group dynamics and stopping for a while to breastfeed. And okay, so can you just hold the baby a minute because I'm going to explain these in the board. So she's like, yeah, it makes part of me now, and it's just picking the babies and just going with the flow. So if it doesn't cut my flow, I wouldn't say it doesn't cut my flow. It's very, very, very demanding to have time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because motherhood is very intense, and I like to live it intensively. Like they take naps on my lap as long as I can. I have naps on me, and I love it. So it's a good timing, to read books, for example. But it's not easy, but it's really challenging, and I like this challenge. Like, of course, then I have black eyes, and I have my skin and my hair, all that.
Oh,
But
you look good, girl. Don't
it's
worry. You look
fine. I like
great.
it anyway. So
No,
it's
it's funny. You find your flow in a different way. Like when I had my son, I didn't want it to stop me, because my work's important to me, and I can't sit still for like 2 minutes, honestly. Like that's really it. Like my mind like is always going, and I'm like, all right, well, this kid's gonna come with me everywhere. And I carted him to literally meetings, everything. Grateful he was, and granted he was a great baby, but up until like the first 6 months, I like was able to, conduct my life that way. Took him to shows, like took him to everything. I mean, you name it. And and I got through it, and it was fine, and it became normal, for that time period. And now it's something else, like as he like gets older, but he's still very much a part of my life. And I mean, of course he's a part of my life, but a part of my working life
uh-huh.
too, and he's used to that. So it works, he could be himself, and I do many activities and many things to accommodate him being a 4-year-old child, but also like he's learned to be a part of my life too, and what mommy likes to do. And I think that's important to strike a
Yeah,
balance,
yeah,
because I think very often mothers sacrifice who they are just for their children, and I don't think you need to do that.
yeah. Yeah, and it was very funny, Amanda. Amanda, one day I remember always this story. I was in another French project as well, and it was very demanding because it was a high level structure. There were a lot of people, so I had to be very focused. And I was traveling again with he was 8 months then, and at the end I was exhausted because there was so many things to deal with the project, plus the child. And I had my mother-in-law to help me there in the hotel. We were staying in a hotel. It was 2 days project, so it was really intense. And in the end, there is this girl, the high achiever kind of lady, that takes everything. And she came and said, I've always thought that I had to choose either to be a mother or a professional. And seeing
Mhm.
you doing both, I see you are exhausted, okay, but still, seeing you doing both, and you are so capable of doing both, that took me like a breath of hope that it's combinable. Like I can do both things. It's not or it's maybe it's a end. And I think it's important to give this message to people.
Sure.
We can do both, and we don't have to give up from our life. And it's not giving less to our children. When I'm with them, I can be a zebra, I can be a crocodile, and then I'm having an international call and they are in my lap. And like, I think we can do it. We can do it, like you're saying, Amanda.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think that's a huge compliment. And I've been told the same, before that, like, I always thought, like, in a roundabout, like the same way, like that, like, I love that, seeing that you never let having a child stop your life, and they think it gave them hope in some way that, like, okay, like maybe having a child's not such a bad decision. Like, so many, I think women often, like, I didn't really think I would ever be a mother, to be honest, but I'm so grateful I am, and had things not happened the way they did, I probably wouldn't be, but I think, you take these blessings in life, and I think they're handed to you because they're here to teach you something, and I feel that having my child has tested my strength in a lot of ways, my strength and my ability to multitask, and that carries in so many different areas in my life aside from him, So I think it's definitely obtainable, and for any of those
Mm,
women that are like on the fence, like, well, they don't want to sacrifice their career for a child, maybe. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything, but it's
mm,
worth not just putting a hard stop on it, because there is a whole nother side to life that's worth
mm.
exploring.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
what
definitely.
what ways do you feel motherhood has enhanced your personal outlook and professional outlook, rather?
Mm. Well, first of all, I think before being a mother, I seeing being a mother as something very conventional. Like, okay, she got married and has children. Like, she's ruined, My stupid, narrow-minded mind was like that. I realize now that I had something like that in my mind
I did
because,
too.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally did.
it's amazing because I saw myself, as kind of this lonely traveler. I did the coast to coast in the US. I went to work with the refugees in Macedonia when they were, crossing Europe. And I saw myself like, I'm so totally cool. I do this cool stuff. I'm not
Yeah.
like those kind of people that are married and have children. And now here I am. But the good
Surprise.
thing is, but I'm still cool,
Yeah.
And I think this was a big learning, like, I'm super cool. I'm kidding about this being cool or not cool. I'm totally kidding with this, of course.
I think you're cool. I mean, that's why you're here. I think you're awesome. So
But it's
if
it's
that
nice
counts
that
for
we
anything, Indeed, I don't know, could mean nothing, but I think you're cool.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're
At least
welcome.
you. But it's funny to see ourselves as, yeah, we can still, do a lot of stuff and keep our, brains active, and and not see only romantic comedies because we are so tired. I still see intellectual movies, and I think motherhood brought me this kind of, I can multiply inside myself. I'm still very focused. I'm still, I have this intellectual part. I really need the intellectual world, the intellectual challenge. I'm very outgoing, so I love to meet people, and even if it's virtually. And this was not touched by the fact that I was a mother. And on the other hand, it's like I feel like more full of love, more full of life, more. It's like I feel more powerful, And
Yeah.
I never thought that motherhood would give something like that. But it's like, look at me, the feeling. Sometimes I look at me in the mirror, and now that I have two children in like less than 3 years, my body changed a lot. I'm very small. Like, I'm not very, I'm normal, but my body changed a lot, or a
Mine
little
did
bit.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine
And
definitely
I
has
see
changed.
myself, sorry,
Mine's definitely has changed since, like,
a
birth,
lot.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say mine changed a lot, but it changed. And I look at me in the mirror, and when I see these imperfections, those things that we would see imperfections, it's like I have these lenses that transform there into, look at that woman, she's amazing, you know.
I
And
love it.
I laugh about that all the time. Like, you know, we see these, you know, these imperfections, and this means, wow, there is been life passing through this body. Look how powerful I am, because I'm able to, you know, to create life. So yeah, I think definitely being a mother brought me a more awareness of the powerful thing that there is, you know, create life, and then, you know, deal with everyday, mom, I want this, or I don't want that, like, you know, and
Yeah.
to discover new resources that I didn't know I had. It's very nice.
It's funny. I like totally get that superwoman vibe because I feel that like way with like when I start like knocking off my task and still like I have my mental checklist of things I want to do professionally for myself that day or before I even get to working or teaching, you know, like there's things that I look to accomplish in my morning. And then there's also like my self checklist. Like I never thought I'd ever say this. I'm really not a morning person. I mean, I wouldn't say like my sister and my mother could sleep till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I can never do that. Like I'm typically up by like 10 in the morning, but I've been forcing myself like naturally. If I could have it my way and sleep in, 10 o'clock is good for me, you know. But like on average, I get up probably around like 7:38, and I've been forcing myself on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, the days of the show, to get up at 5:30 in the morning. And actually, I feel freaking great. I never thought I would say that. I thought I'd be like super exhausted, but I feel great in the sense where I get the things accomplished before like my son gets up. And then that way I have this window of time where I'm not stressing about writing for this show or writing, you know, like figuring out my lesson plans or whatever else is going to occupy my time and my mind space. I have this block of time to really like hold my son and watch one of his kid shows or you know like and do certain things with him and play with him and just be a mom, you know, like he deserves that. I don't want to cut him short of that because my mind's in too many places. So getting up at 5:30 actually has worked for me and I feel like super mom, you know, by like 9 o'clock, I've just like knocked out like a list of things. I'm there with a frying pan cooking pancakes for my kid. I feed him, get him dressed, get him bathed, you know, like we play together. We have a great time. We run around the house, you know, and then if I take him to school for a few hours, like right now, in between the show, I dropped him off to school and after the show I'm running to pick him up, you know, like I have a routine, but it works. It doesn't feel overwhelming, you
Mhm.
know. It's just it I had to get up a few hours earlier to achieve that, you know. And sometimes I'm not, you know, like whatever works for you guys, you know, for anybody, for Edith, for Ty, for anybody watching this, you know, maybe that extra hour, if that's what gains you like that quality time and for you to feel like a good mother and to feel like you've or a good father or, you know, a good anybody, a good partner, you know, that you're given that time to somebody that's special to you, you know, that's worth a lot to them. And in the end, like that's really what we're here for, right? We're not here, I mean, we're here with purpose, but like we're supposed to enjoy our relationships and the people around us. So you don't want to cut people short of that.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Adi, what do you have coming up? So is there anything that like I know you have lots of workshops. I mean, is there anything virtual that maybe somebody in the States here is interested in learning more about? Could they participate?
Well, I just have like in English, I have an online course. I would be glad to. Hey, actually, we can prepare that. I can prepare a free coupon. How do you say coupon? Yeah, yeah. Take it
Coupon?
back. Coupon for the audience. I think it's valuable for 3 days. It's a Udemy course on creative thinking. It's called Opening Creative Thinking, Opening Perspectives in Thinking Big. And the course is all me speaking in this kind of lousy English. So if you are good with that, you can do anything.
You have good
Um,
English.
it's a MOOC, so it's easy to do course on creative thinking. Otherwise, I write a lot on Instagram, because one of the things that we were speaking about maternity, like one of the things here at home, we decided that it would be Jeremy, my companion, would be working, and me keep staying with the two boys at home, because there is this confinement thing, so there is not school, and I'm totally, flowing with this side. So now my intellectual part of the day is to write posts on Instagram, and then Facebook as well. And it's always something that I have been reading, or something that I've been thinking about, structured with positive psychology, applied to real life. So if people would like to join me on Instagram and follow these posts, it's an invitation, always an invitation to question the obvious and on applied positive psychology. Yeah.
I love it, Edite. And could you give our audience your website and where they could tune, aside from Instagram, where could they find you and more about you?
Instagram is the easiest. It's my name underscore my surname underscore thinking big. So Edite underscore Amorim underscore thinking big. This is Instagram, and my website is thinking-big.com. And in my website, if one of the things that people can, I was thinking, what can I do with someone living in the US? It's basically the mentoring processes, because another thing that I've been doing for, I don't know, like 4 years now, is a mentoring process. This is the only individual thing that I do, because usually I work with groups of people. But individually, I will only do mentoring processes that are when people are kind of stuck in a process. Like, I don't know if I want to start my business, or I want to keep working for other people, or I don't know. I'm in between things, and I want to take a look from behind. So I do these mentoring processes as well. But all the information is on my website as well, Amanda.
Awesome, Edite. Thank you so much for your time, and it was such a pleasure. I'm so happy to be connected. So make sure you keep in touch.
Of course.
It's
super
and
nice.
make sure you all check out both Ty and Edite. They're both on Instagram and Facebook, and both their websites as well. Speaking of Ty, why don't you close us out with one of your songs?
I would love to. Edite, thank you so much for sharing. And Amanda, great questions and insight into your life.
Yeah, I would like just to say that you are an amazing interviewer. It's such a pleasure. You are so interesting and intelligent. Like, yeah, what a great woman. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow.
Love to know you.
Guys. Thank you.
I'm just going to give you both a kiss and focus on Ty's song. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you. And congratulations, Ty, for your super music.
Hey, thank you so much, Edite. One last thing that came to my mind in order to conquer anxiety and depression that I've found is just expressing ourselves.
Totally.
And just writing or singing or dancing. Put on a favorite song and just dance, But anyway, this song is called Faith. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Will I see the light where the sun won't shine? Will I keep running when I fall behind? Will I stand alone when I know it's right? Will I stand all alone when I'm alone in the fight? Faith, stay with me when the skies get dark and I get weak. Faith, hold my hand through any weather. You and I will stand. Faith, are you there? You've been real quiet and I've stand. Faith, faith, don't leave me. It's getting real dark and it's hard to see. Faith, faith, stay with me. When the skies get dark and I get weak. Faith, faith, hold my hand. Through any weather, you and I will stand. Through any weather, you and I will stand.
Thank you so much for having
Solid.
us. God bless you
Thank
both.
you.
And
Thank you
Beau.
so much, Ty. Yeah, thank you, Beau. And thank you, Ty. That was an awesome song. Thank you.
Thank you,
So-
Amanda. Thank you, Edite. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure to both of you. I'm going to leave you all with some closing words for your weekend. From our very first breath as an infant to our last and passing, we are breathing every moment that we live. Seldom do we think about the powerful impact conscious breathing can have on our overall well-being, though. Breathing is a natural solution to aligning your body and your consciousness. So together, let's all take a moment to breathe. Edite, Ty, are you ready? We're going to inhale for 3, hold for a moment, and exhale for 4. And take, ready? On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold and exhale. It's best if you close your eyes as you do this. I'll do one more for practice. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. And exhale. On this next breath, I want you to exhale the burdens of that yesterday. On a count of 3. Whatever weight you carried along with you yesterday is no longer today's problem. On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. Choose today to see today with fresh eyes and to find the good in every situation. Let's take a second breath for gratitude. On this next breath, I want you to close your eyes and to take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in and exhale your gratitude for the day. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. And exhale. Today, I am grateful for the love in my life, for the connections I've made with these 2 new beautiful souls, Ty and Edite, and for the lessons this journey has brought me. I'm grateful for my health, for my artistic gifts, and to be able to put food on my table during these difficult times. Breath number 3. We're going to inhale and exhale the energy that you wish to bring forth today. Think about who you would choose to give your energy to. Close your eyes on a count of 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. And exhale. Today, I choose to give my energy and love to my family and to my friends. Today, I choose to give my energy to my students, Dev and Billy, whom later today I will musically encourage and guide along their musical journey. Today, I choose to give my energy to you, to those of you who know me well, and to those strangers who may have just stumbled upon me by chance. I believe that you matter, that your thoughts and feelings matter, and that we all have something truly beautiful to offer this universe. I hope that by giving my energy to you today, that it will inspire, encourage, and provide you with the knowledge you need to move forward with grace, gratitude, and kindness through the weekend and through life. Now open your eyes. Sometimes we just need to take a breath. It's the least we can do for ourselves, and it truly requires so little. You guys have an amazing weekend. Thank you for tuning into our show. Be kind to yourselves. Keep spreading good energy to those around you. Thank you, Beau Productions, for your help in this program always. And to our show sponsors, we have Rochester Woman Online, Bridgett Hoag of Empire Realty, also Chris Sirianni at IT Insights Rochester. Thank you to James Farley of Northwestern Mutual and Maiden Voyage Studios. We will see you back here this upcoming Monday with a brand new show. Take care and have an awesome weekend.